Hello friends, today we'll be discussing about ion exchange process of water treatment. In previous videos we have discussed the lime soda process and zeolite process of water treatment, and this ion exchange process of water treatment is better as compared with that of the previous two methods. Now the ion exchange process contains the use of resins. Okay, resins which can completely remove cations as well as anions. In case of zeolite, only cations were removed, that is only calcium and magnesium ions were removed. Here we have the negative ions also that can be removed, that is chloride, sulfate, nitrate, all these negative ions can be removed. So all the cations as well as anions can be removed by using this ion exchange process. Resins are nothing but organic in nature. It is cross-linked. These are insoluble polymers and it has some functional group which is responsible for this ion exchange properties. These are generally classified into two categories, that is cation exchange resins. We can represent it with RH plus. This will exchange cations of the water with the H plus ions. And anion exchange resins, that is ROH minus. It has OH minus which will be replaced by the negative ions present in the hard water. Now, this is nothing but cation exchange resin. You can see here we have groups like SO3 minus H plus, or it can be group like COOH which can exchange their H plus ions. So this cation exchange resin can be written as RH plus. So this is styrene divinyl benzene copolymer which is acting as cation exchange resin. This H plus will be replaced by calcium, magnesium ions. So all these cations can be replaced with this calcium, magnesium ions. So the whole compound, this whole structure we represent in terms of RH plus, where H plus will be replaced with this cations. This is anion exchange resin. This is also, you can see styrene divinyl benzene or even amine formaldehyde copolymers can be used. Here we have this functional group containing OH minus ions. This OH minus ions will be replaced with this negative ions like chloride, sulfate, nitrate, etc. present in the hard water. So the whole structure will be represented as ROH minus, where OH minus will be replaced with the negative ions present in the hard water. This is the picture for the ion exchange process. You can see here we have cation exchanger bed, here we have anion exchanger bed, and here again it is gravels, and here the outlet of water. So this is the hard water in, same as that of zeolite process, and here we have cation exchanger bed instead of zeolite bed, gravels as such. Here in case of zeolite bed, this was exit of water, but here in ion exchange process we are removing both cations as well as anions, and in zeolite bed we removed only cation. So that was only one container that was used which contained the zeolite bed. Here cation exchanger bed will remove the cations, and this will be sent into the next container containing anion exchanger bed. Here anions will be removed. This also will be supported with the help of gravels, and this is the outlet for soft water. Now here there is injector of HCl solution. Here another injector containing alkaline regenerator. In this process there are two columns. See, let us see in detail the process. That is, there are two columns. One is containing cation exchanger and another is containing anion exchanger, as I have discussed. Now the hard water will be passed into cation exchanger at first. This cation exchanger will remove the cations like calcium and magnesium. What will be the reaction? If we consider the cation exchanger bed formula, so RH plus and the calcium 2 plus and magnesium 2 plus, whatever is present here, this will react with this H plus ions to form R2Ca and 2H plus. If there is magnesium, it will form R2Mg and 2H plus. And after removal of this, it means that there is removal of all the cations, and cation exchanger bed will become R2Ca and R2Mg, and calcium magnesium ions will be removed. So after removal of this cation, the hard water will be passed into the anion exchanger bed. Here in this column, the anion exchanger bed will remove the anions like chloride, sulfate, nitrate, carbonate, etc. And the water will be softened water will be out, will have an outlet from here. Now in the anion exchange, what happens is this is represented as ROH minus. That will react with the negative ions like sulfate to form R2SO4, and OH minus will be separated out. If we have carbonate, it can have R2CO3 plus 2OH minus, and if we have Cl minus, that also can be. Now the H plus ions from the cation exchanger bed and OH minus ions from the anion exchanger bed will combine to form water molecules. And when cation and anion exchanger are exhausted, we need to regenerate it. So for the regeneration, what we do, we will be treating it with acid. Okay, so cation exchanger will be treated with acid. So R2Ca will react with acid H plus to form RH plus calcium will be removed, and the anion exchanger column here, the R2SO4 will be treated with sodium hydroxide. We can take any of the alkali, for example sodium hydroxide. So here sodium hydroxide OH minus will be reacting with R2SO4, and it will replace SO4 by OH. So it will become ROH, we get SO4 2 minus. So in the cation exchanger, we see that cations are removed, and in the anion exchanger region, we see that sulfate will be removed, and this will be regenerated with the help of H plus ions, that is acid, by treating it with acid, and the anion exchanger bed can be regenerated by treating it with base. Okay, so in case of zeolite, sodium zeolite was retained by treating it with calcium magnesium zeolite is treated with sodium chloride. Here the cation exchanger bed becomes, when it reacts with calcium, it forms R2Ca. So this calcium will be removed by treating it with acid like HCl or H2SO4. The anion exchanger bed will be retained with the help of sodium hydroxide. Okay, so the sodium hydroxide will be treated with, injected with to the R2SO4, that is anion exchanger bed, and we will get ROH minus. The columns will be washed with soft water, and we will have calcium 2 plus ions, sulfate ions, chloride ions, magnesium ions. All positive and negative ions will be present in those washings, and that can be drained out into sink as previously discussed. Now see what are the advantages here. Highly acidic or alkaline water can be softened. But in case of zeolite process, acidic water cannot be softened. Water of low hardness, very low hardness, 2 ppm is obtained. That is, the residual hardness obtained is 2 ppm instead of 10 ppm in case of zeolite bed. So it is very good for treating and for the high pressure boilers. Disadvantages are nothing but chemicals and equipments are costly, and still the water containing, if the water contains 10 ppm turbidity, same as case of zeolite bed, here also this cannot be treated because these turbid material will clog the pores present in the bed. Okay. So there are two disadvantages. We have one mixed ion bed, mixed ion bed also, that is mixed bed deionizer. Here what we are doing is the single column containing cation and anion exchanger resins are taken. There we used in the previous slide, we discussed that there are two columns. One column contain cation exchange resin and in another column contain anion exchanger resin. And in the mixed bed deionizer, we have cation and anion exchanger mixed together in one column, in one single column. When hard water is passed through this mixed deionizer, what happens is it alternatively comes in contact with anion exchangers and cation exchanger a number of times. So it will be having a efficient softening even as compared with that of ion exchanger resin, and the residual hardness is almost nil. That is at the maximum 1 ppm sometimes will be the residual hardness. Now, when the resin are exhausted, in case of ion exchanger resin, what we did was the cation exchanger resin was regenerated with the help of acid, and the anion exchanger resin was regenerated with the help of base. Here, both the exchangers, that is both the ion exchange, anion and cation exchanger resins are mixed together to form a single bed. Okay. So to regenerate it, what we do is, when the resins are exhausted, the bed will be backwashed. Then what happens is anion exchanger will form an upper layer and cation exchanger will form a lower layer, because cation exchanger will have a high density generally and anion exchanger will have a lower density. So this will be like floating over the cation exchanger, and at the lower part we have the cation exchanger. So at the lower part, when we have the cation exchanger, this can be regenerated by sending H2SO4 separately, and in the anion exchanger case, okay, which is at the upper side, this can be regenerated by sending the sodium hydroxide solution. So both the regeneration at two different places, like in a single column, the anion exchanger and cation exchanger both can be regenerated simultaneously. Cation exchanger is regenerated with the help of H2SO4, and the anion exchanger is regenerated with the help of sodium hydroxide. And that is a better method as compared with that of all the other methods. But only thing is, ion exchange method is generally costly and the equipment is also costly. That's all for today.